Imagine you're standing outside a nuclear power plant, and something goes terribly wrong. You can't see the danger, you can't smell it, you can't even feel it yet. But right now, inside your body, something has already started. At Chernobyl, in April 1986, 134 workers were exposed to massive doses of radiation in a single night. 28 of them were dead within the first 3 months. So what actually happens inside your body after a nuclear meltdown? Let's go through it minute by minute, stage by stage. Here's the terrifying part. Radiation doesn't announce itself. When ionizing radiation passes through your body, it does one thing extremely well. It rips through your DNA. Now your cells are actually designed to repair DNA damage. They're remarkably good at it, but there's a limit. At low doses, your body handles it. That's basically what a chest X-ray is. But surviving a nuclear meltdown, that's not a chest X-ray. The first Chernobyl responders were exposed to radiation levels between 8,000 and 16,000 millisieverts, the equivalent, according to the World Health Organization, of 80,000 to 160,000 chest X-rays in a matter of hours. At that level, your cells don't just get damaged, they start dying, fast. Within minutes to a couple of hours after high-dose exposure, your body sends the first warning signal: nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, fever. Now, here's where things get interesting and disturbing. After that wave of sickness, you might actually start to feel better. Doctors call this the latent stage, a deceptive window of calm that can last hours or even up to a few weeks, depending on how much radiation you absorbed. Some of the Chernobyl first responders thought they were recovering. They weren't. Under the surface, your bone marrow was already shutting down. And bone marrow, as it turns out, is the single most radiation-sensitive vital organ system in the human body. Here's where it gets terrifying. Your bone marrow produces your blood cells, red cells, white cells, platelets. Radiation destroys the stem cells that make them. Without those stem cells, your immune system collapses. Your blood can no longer clot. Infections that your body normally shrugs off become fatal. This is called bone marrow syndrome, and it kicks in at doses as low as 0.7 gray. The Chernobyl responders were absorbing up to 16 gray. At higher doses still above 8 gray, the gastrointestinal tract begins to fail. The lining of your intestines starts to break down. Your gut, essentially, stops working. At doses above 50 gray, and this is the level that kills, within days, the nervous system itself comes under attack. Cardiovascular collapse, seizures, loss of consciousness. One worker at the Wood River Junction nuclear accident in 1964 absorbed a dose at that threshold. He died 49 hours later. But wait, it gets worse. Even if you survive the acute phase, even if your bone marrow recovers, which can take months to years, radiation leaves a long shadow. Among Chernobyl's 530,000 registered cleanup workers, elevated rates of leukemia and cataracts were recorded in those who received the highest doses. Children who consumed radioactive iodine in contaminated food and water developed thyroid cancer at significantly higher rates. Over 6,000 cases were recorded by 2005, according to the United Nations Scientific Committee on the Effects of Atomic Radiation. And then there's something the science doesn't always capture neatly: the psychological damage. The IAEA documented widespread anxiety, depression, and apathy, effects that lasted for decades. Because surviving radiation isn't just a medical story, it's a human one. So what happens to your body after a nuclear meltdown? Your DNA gets hit first, invisibly. Then, nausea, false calm, and a slow collapse of the very systems keeping you alive. The bone marrow fails, the immune system goes down, and the damage for some lasts a lifetime. The 28 men who died at Chernobyl in the weeks after the explosion, they walked in thinking they were fighting a fire. They didn't know the fire was already inside them. If you found this terrifying and fascinating in equal measure, watch our video on what the Soviet government hid about Chernobyl to see the declassified secrets they buried for decades. Or click on this video instead and see just how far a cover-up can go. I'll see you there.